The history of the Church, an overview of its origins, early periods, and evolution. The Church is an institution that has been around for thousands of years and has played an important role in shaping the course of human history. From its origins in the teachings of Jesus Christ to its present-day existence, the Church has undergone significant changes and has been shaped by various factors, including social, cultural, and political influences. In this video, we will take a closer look at the history of the Church, starting with its origins, and tracing its evolution through the early periods to the present day. The Church can trace its origins to the teachings of Jesus Christ, who lived in the early 1st century AD. According to the Bible, Jesus was born in Bethlehem and raised in Nazareth. He began his public ministry when he was around 30 years old and spent 3 years preaching and teaching throughout the region. Jesus' teachings focused on the concept of the kingdom of God and the importance of love, compassion, and forgiveness. He also performed many miracles, including healing the sick and feeding the hungry, which helped to spread his message and gain a following. After Jesus' death and resurrection, his disciples continued to spread his teachings, and the Church began to take shape. The first Christian communities were established in Jerusalem, and the apostles traveled throughout the region, preaching and baptizing new converts. The early period of the Church is characterized by significant growth and development. The apostles and early Christian leaders faced many challenges, including persecution by the Roman Empire and internal disagreements over doctrine and leadership. Despite these challenges, the Church continued to grow, and new communities were established throughout the region. The New Testament documents many of the early struggles and achievements of the Church, including the establishment of new churches in cities like Antioch, Corinth, and Rome. During this period, the Church also developed many of its core doctrines, including the belief in the Trinity, the divinity of Jesus Christ, and the importance of the sacraments. These doctrines were established through a series of councils and debates, culminating in the Nicene Creed in 325 AD. The Middle Ages marked a significant period of change and development for the Church. During this time, the Church became a powerful institution, with significant influence over political and social affairs in Europe. One of the most significant events of the Middle Ages was the Great Schism of 1054, which divided the Church into two factions, the Western, or Roman Catholic Church, and the Eastern, or Orthodox Church. The schism was caused by a number of factors, including disagreements over doctrine and the use of religious icons. During the Middle Ages, the Church also played a significant role in the development of art and architecture. Many of the most famous works of art and architecture from this period, including the Gothic cathedrals, were created to honor the Church and its teachings. The Reformation was a significant event in the history of the Church, marking a period of significant change and upheaval. The Reformation began in the early 16th century and was led by figures such as Martin Luther, John Calvin, and Huldrych Zwingli. The Reformers challenged many of the teachings and practices of the Catholic Church, including the sale of indulgences and the concept of purgatory. They also emphasized the importance of the Bible as the sole source of authority for Christian doctrine and rejected the authority of the Pope. The Reformation led to the establishment of many new Protestant denominations, including Lutheranism, Calvinism, and Anglicanism. It also had a significant impact on the political and social affairs of Europe, leading to conflicts such as the 30 Years. Continuing from our previous discussion of the history of the Church, we will now focus on another important aspect of the Church, its architectural structure. The Church has been a significant influence on the development of architecture, and its unique style and features have had a lasting impact on the field. The architecture of the Church is characterized by a number of unique features, including its grandeur, ornate decorations, and symbolic elements. Some of the most prominent architectural features of the Church include vaulted ceilings, flying buttresses, stained glass windows, and bell towers. One of the most recognizable features of the Church is its use of pointed arches and ribbed vaults. These architectural elements were developed in the Gothic period and were designed to allow for greater height and light within the church. Another important feature of the church's architecture is the use of flying buttresses. These are external supports that help to distribute the weight of the vaulted ceilings and walls, allowing for greater height and stability. Stained glass windows are also a significant feature of church architecture. These windows are often highly ornate and depict scenes from the Bible or other religious stories. The use of stained glass was developed in the Romanesque period and continued to be used throughout the Gothic period. Continuing our discussion of the church, another important aspect to explore is the art and artifacts that are found within its walls. The church has been a patron of the arts for centuries, and as a result, it is home to many priceless works of art and architecture. The church is filled with a wealth of art and artifacts that reflect the history, culture, and religious beliefs of the people who built and attended it. Some of the most notable works of art found in the church include paintings, sculptures, stained glass windows, and mosaics. Paintings have been a popular form of art in the church since the Middle Ages. Many of the paintings found in churches depict scenes from the Bible or the lives of saints. One of the most famous examples of religious paintings is the Sistine Chapel in Vatican City, which features the masterful works of Michelangelo. Sculptures are another popular form of art found in the church. Many of these sculptures are ornate and highly detailed, depicting religious figures or scenes. Sculptures can be found throughout the church, from the altar to the outer walls. Along with its art and architecture, the church is also known for its many traditions and customs. These traditions have evolved over time and are an important part of the church's history and identity. One of the most important traditions in the church is the celebration of the Eucharist or communion, which is a central part of Christian worship. Other important traditions include baptism, confirmation, and marriage, all of which mark important milestones in a person's spiritual journey. In addition to these sacraments, the church also has a rich tradition of prayer and worship, with many different forms of liturgy and devotional practices. For example, some churches may follow a traditional liturgical calendar, with specific feast days and seasons marked by special services and celebrations. The church also has a long history of charitable work and social justice, with many organizations and initiatives dedicated to serving the poor, the sick, and the marginalized. These efforts reflect the church's commitment to the values of compassion, generosity, and solidarity. Priests are responsible for leading worship services and sacraments, such as the Eucharist and confession. They also provide pastoral care to their congregations, visiting the sick and offering guidance and support to those in need. Monks, on the other hand, live a more contemplative life, dedicating themselves to prayer and study. They often live in monasteries or other religious communities, following a strict daily routine that includes prayer, work, and study. In addition to priests and monks, there are many other individuals who work within the church, including deacons, nuns, and other lay people. These individuals may serve in a variety of roles, such as teaching, counseling, and social outreach. While life within the church can be rewarding, it is not without its challenges. In recent years, the church has faced controversy and criticism over issues such as clerical abuse and the role of women within the church. Despite these challenges, many individuals continue to find meaning and purpose within the church, working to promote positive change and make a difference in the world. Throughout history, the relationship between the church and science has been a complex one. At times, the church has been a supporter of scientific inquiry, while at other times, it has been seen as an obstacle to progress. In this section, we will explore the history of the church's relationship with science, the scientists who have worked within the church, and the controversies that have arisen between the two. In the early years of Christianity, there was not a clear distinction between religion and science. Many early Christian thinkers saw science as a way to better understand God's creation, and as a means to better serve God. However, as scientific knowledge began to grow, and as new discoveries challenged traditional beliefs, tensions began to arise between the church and the scientific community. One of the most famous examples of this tension was the trial of Galileo Galilei. Galileo, a devout Catholic, made several scientific discoveries that challenged the prevailing view of the cosmos. In particular, his observations of the moons of Jupiter provided evidence for the heliocentric model of the solar system, which contradicted the geocentric model that was widely accepted at the time. Galileo's work was seen as a threat to the Church's authority, and he was brought before the Inquisition and forced to recant his views. Despite this setback, there were many other scientists who continued to work within the church, and who saw no conflict between their faith and their scientific work. One such scientist was the 17th-century French mathematician and philosopher Blaise Pascal. Pascal made important contributions to the study of mathematics, physics, and philosophy, while also maintaining a strong faith in God. In his famous work Pensées, Pascal argued that faith and reason were not mutually exclusive, and that both were necessary for a complete understanding of the world. In more recent times, the Church has played an important role in promoting scientific inquiry, particularly in fields such as astronomy and genetics. For example, in 1931, Pope Pius XI established the Vatican Observatory, which has since become a leading center for astronomical research. The Church has also been involved in the ethical debates surrounding genetic research and biotechnology, and has called for a more thoughtful and nuanced approach to these issues. Despite these positive developments, tensions between the Church and the scientific community continue to exist. In particular, there are ongoing debates over issues such as evolution, climate change, and the use of stem cells in medical research. Some religious groups continue to reject scientific findings that contradict their beliefs, while some scientists are critical of religious beliefs that they see as unscientific or irrational. In conclusion, the relationship between the Church and science has been a complex and often contentious one throughout history. While there have been times of conflict, there have also been many examples of cooperation and mutual respect. As we continue to grapple with the complex ethical and moral issues raised by scientific progress, it is important to remember that both faith and reason have important roles to play in shaping our understanding of the world. In this video, we have explored the rich and fascinating history of churches, from their origins to their evolution over time. We have discussed their architectural features, including the use of stained glass windows and domes, as well as the stunning works of art that can be found within their walls. We have also learned about the important traditions and practices associated with churches, as well as the roles of priests, monks, and other religious figures who serve within them. Furthermore, we have examined the complex relationship between the Church and science, and the ways in which they have both influenced and conflicted with one another throughout history. Overall, we hope that this video has provided you with a comprehensive and informative overview of the world of churches. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, we invite you to like and share it with others who may be interested. You can also subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on future videos covering a wide range of fascinating topics. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to sharing more knowledge and insights with you in the future.